Hey there, it's Diane the Nursing Geek, and this is not the SoarvivorCraft server. This is a single-player creative world that I created in order to figure out how to do my game for the Christmas Village. Okay. This was what gave me the idea for the Naughty or Nice game. Lady Vivian had suggested that we could create games, which I didn't really know how to do. And then I thought of this. It's not a game, this is a vending machine, which was created by SketchUps. And it's very simple. You throw in any item into the hopper and you get a cookie from here or a piece of bread from here. So if I throw in a baked potato there, I get a cookie. Let me move that around in my inventory, which is a mess at the moment. And throw one in here and I get a piece of bread. So I figured, why don't I try doing something kind of like that? And while I was trying to figure that out, I remember saying every so often, boy, do I wish I could find a tutorial that would do pretty much this. And people would make all sorts of suggestions to me that were, I'm sure, wonderful tutorials for people who already understand redstone. I am not an expert with redstone, and so I went back and watched Paul Soares tutorials that had to do with redstone. He is also not an expert about it, and he's the first to say that. So I thought maybe I would understand his tutorial a little better, because I think sometimes it's easier when somebody who doesn't understand it all that well, but has figured it out, does the explaining. That's why I decided to do this. The various elements that it turns out you will need are a chest to capture the things that are thrown in, a hopper to do the catching, a redstone comparator which needs to be turned on. That's important. The other thing to notice about the comparator is it is directional. Which way it's pointing matters. It should be pointing so that the side with two prongs is facing the object being compared, and the light should be facing the thing that it's meant to activate, in this case, a dispenser. This was the first version I tried. I thought I needed redstone torches. I don't know what I thought I was doing with this repeater. This configuration, however, did not work. Oh, and on top of the hoppers, we've got just some red and green wool carpeting to make it look all nice and festive. So you can tell this is sort of the setup for the frame of the game that I did end up using. But it definitely took some tweaking to figure out how to do all this stuff. For my next attempt, I was trying to use an observer. I thought that the change of state that it would observe in either the hopper or the chest, I tried it with the chest above ground and then below, so that it was either at the same level as the observer or the hopper was at the same level. yeah, there is something in there. So, helps if it gets inside. See, that did nothing. So clearly that was not what I needed. I did post in Discord and somebody ultimately said, you know, I think what you really need is a comparator, not an observer. And that's what this is here, a comparator. It looks a little bit like the repeater. And I don't know, maybe that's what I thought the repeater was supposed to do. Yeah. But a comparator compares whether something has changed about this and can send a message to something else. So if I stand on that and, oh, what the heck, throw that in, try to throw that in. Theoretically, oh, that's right, I was testing this out with chorus fruit, or chorus flowers. Okay, great. So the comparator determined that this is no longer empty, it has something in it, and it told this dispenser to dispense something. I thought I was right on target there. Here's the problem. It doesn't notice a difference between there being one item in there and being two. I actually didn't check whether it can tell the difference if I throw a different thing in there. Nope, it doesn't care. The chest did not go from having nothing to having something. When it went from having nothing to having something, that sent a signal. Once it has something, adding extra somethings accomplishes nothing. So, then I realized the comparator needed to look at the hopper, because the hopper is the thing that's going to change state. Let's turn those on and throw something in. Let's try to actually throw something in. Okay. Did I not have anything in here for those to dispense? Yeah, that doesn't work very well, does it? Oh, that one did. That one did not. I don't entirely understand how the inventory thing works in creative. Yeah, okay. Okay. Wonderful. Of course, what happened is that two of them dispensed stuff, which is not quite what I wanted. So when we go back to the Christmas village, you'll see that ultimately what I ended up doing was having to spread these out a little further, add a lot more hoppers, so that there was a space between each of the dispensers, so that only one would fire at a time. I actually wasn't super worried about having too many things dispense at once. Lady Vivian did caution me that, you know, if the Christmas village gets busy, that could result in me running out of stock in the dispensers very quickly. So I did ultimately fix it. So now let's go back and have a look in the Christmas village at what the final product ended up looking like. Okay, so I'm back in the Christmas village on the SoarvivorCraft server. Here is how this finally turned out. The black pieces of wool are covering the dispensers. The white is covering empty space, and the red and green are covering the hoppers. That's why the directions say, oops, on this side, stand on the black square. That way the dispenser will put it right into your inventory, and throw any item at the red and green squares, because those are the hoppers. When we go under here, you see that the comparators, again, are looking at the hoppers. There is a row of space between each dispenser and each chest. Which hoppers are connected to which, of course, is a little not quite random. These two rows of 3 feed into that dispenser, or feed into that chest, I should say, and trigger that dispenser. And it's sort of a mishmash which side this middle one's going to. So it might pop up next to you instead of in your inventory, but it does ultimately give you either, let me go into the dispenser, you have an 8 out of 9 chance of getting a cookie and a 1 out of 9 chance of getting a piece of charcoal. And people have been playing. They've been throwing in all kinds of things. I need to figure out what I'm actually going to do with this stuff, because I don't feel like I should keep it. But of course I don't know who any of it came from either. I don't know. None of it's super valuable, so maybe it's just no big deal. Anyway, that's my quick, not quite tutorial, because I didn't really show making it, but my little explanation of how I set this up. Didn't really need any additional redstone other than what went into making the hoppers, the dispenser, and the comparators. I don't actually remember if there was redstone for the dispenser or if it's just a bow. You can find all that on the Minecraft Wiki. But I hope if you're trying to figure out how to make something similar, you found this helpful. And until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.